on, everyone? We have episode 3 of The House going on. Special guest Dan Oneil here. I can't say how excited I actually am for this podcast. So
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on. I mean, for someone doing 150 houses a year, I thank you for taking the time for little Josh Handler over here.
Knock on wood, and it's not little Josh Handler. Listen, it's 7 o'clock at night. We're in Massapequa. This is the furthest drive probably ever for me. But like I said, I'm here. It's an honor to be here, and
I appreciate you coming. You know, obviously we never spoken before.
Not never.
Both realtors. You know, obviously we never crossed paths. You know, yet till now, but it just shows that a lot of agents don't even want to reach out to another realtor. They think everyone's in competition with one another. Yeah. I can't reach out to this guy. He's going to give me good info, or he's not going to want to share things that help him, or vice versa. And people don't realize you can really collaborate with so many agents now. And
that's what you should be doing. You
right.
know what I mean? Because maybe there's something that I'm doing that you're not that could help, right? Or maybe there's something that you're doing that I'm not that can help me. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, to not have that resource or to not even reach out to someone on social media, it's so silly.
And I honestly just started doing this. I was never really big into social media, maybe in the last like 4 months. You know, I really started like dabbling into it all. And really the main thing was I saw Charles's page and I saw your page. And those are really the two things that really wanted me to start pushing the envelope, because I saw how much you really bring to the social media aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And it's really taken over the world in general. Just, you know, not even just real estate.
I appreciate it. I mean, and now thinking just 4 months, like I would never have imagined that. Like I wouldn't even believe if you said that. Now you have a podcast. We're sitting here. This is sick. It's a sick setup.
You know what I mean? You would just never think that real estate comes to social media, podcasts, you know, all these different things. Yeah. That it's not just selling a home. It's not just getting, you know, a listing or this or that. It really opened my eyes to really so much.
Yeah.
And, you know, showing everybody post on the market, under contract, sold. On the market, under contract, sold. How many? You could do that so many times. It doesn't engage people anymore.
Right.
Like they see you're busy. They're like, great. Maybe give it a like next.
Yeah.
You know, and really seeing all the ridiculous shit that you do, it's fucking great. Like I can't even like. I don't know if anybody has seen him. We're gonna throw down your links at the end. This guy's riding horses. I mean, there's nothing this guy honestly will not do, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like you know, back in the day, it wasn't, you know, social media it was just like you said, it's you kind of list in a house or selling a house, nobody really knows about it, or no one's looking on Instagram or Facebook to find it. Everything was, you know, the newspaper, the penny saver. It's just a different world. It's a different market. It's a different consumer, and I think we all have to adapt that way. So really, I mean, I'm just having fun, I'm just being myself.
No, and you can tell it's like it's not fictional. It's not like made up. Like that's who you are.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this kid's probably if I met him at a bar somewhere, he's probably the same crazy kid that's like jumping into a pool with a full suit on. You know, It's not like fake.
Yeah, and that's the best way to be. Like you have to be genuine. Like if you're not yourself on social media, But if you're not, like people smell that from a mile away. Like people will know, you know, right off the bat. Like you're gonna go back now if you watch some of my videos, like. There is no difference. There's nothing. Like the way that I appear on social media, that's how I am in person. Like it's 7 o'clock. Like I said earlier, like I haven't eaten all day, so I'm jittery. Like I feel weird, you know. But like if you watch my videos, it's the same way. Like my videos are not. Everyone's like, oh, you know, you must have put so much effort into it. Nope. Get a listing at 11 o'clock. I'm driving home and or to the office, and I get an idea. I'm at Marshall's. I'm at whatever it is, Party City to get the supplies. Call the video guy. Hey, we need to do a video like right now. And
I have the idea.
There, and that's it. Like. These aren't like a weeks or days in planning, like, it just happens. Right. That's just my personality.
You know, so like, I just wanted to dial back for a second. We're both, you know, I didn't even know this till I think actually, I was talking to Charles actually, and I think he mentioned that you were in the restaurant business, I think, prior. So I didn't even know that. So I was in the restaurant business before real estate. Mm-hmm. I was partners in 2 restaurants. You know, I worked restaurants from when I was 18 years old up till 27. 28, and then I got out of it. Now, you know, 31. Been doing real estate for the last 2.5 years, but I didn't even know you were, you know, very similar in, you know, in the restaurant business. Yep. So I just want, you know, dial back.
And that's like such a similar and common theme within our industry, and really like sales in general, because having that background, I feel like helps prep you to be in real estate sales, because it's customer service. It's
I thought it was
dealing with constant fires. Like real estate's like, you know, every hour you have a fire you gotta put out. Like. The restaurant industry is even worse. Like it's granted a different scale, but like that's very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Yeah, it was.
So when he said that, I was like, you know, we're both on the younger scale. We both been in the restaurant. I was like, so I know what made me get out of the restaurant. What made you take the leap from restaurant business to I'm gonna go start doing real estate?
Yeah. So basically, I left. I graduated school, college. I was going to Adelphi all the way out in I don't even know Garden City, which is like even further than here.
What were you going for? What was
business management.
Okay.
I had no idea what I wanted to do though. Like just
going for it, whatever happened.
And I was bartending right on the weekends, like Saturday, Sunday, nightclubs, like 4 a.m. You go home and until the next day. You sleep all afternoon. Like
sleep all day, work all night.
Right, and you know what? It's a great business if that's what you want to do, and there's a lot of money to be made. You could open up bars and whatever, restaurants. It's great. I'm not hating on it at all. But long story short, the guy, I just was a bartender at 22 years old. He goes, "Oh, you want to become the GM of the restaurant? You want to manage the restaurant?" I kind of just got thrown right into it. Right. I'm like, "All right, this is cool money." Like I'm. 20.
So you did take that.
Yeah.
So you went from bartending.
I left Adelphi. Just went straight into I'm doing a P&L for a restaurant in the middle of the summertime, making like $350,000 a year at the restaurant.
Right.
Sorry, making $350,000 a month, and I'm the one that's ordering the liquor and I'm doing the food. Like, I didn't even know what half the menu was.
So you stopped going to college and then
at Adelphi. So I went to Coastal Carolina for my when I moved back. Yeah.
So similar because I literally went to Nassau. I didn't know what I wanted to do was going to Nassau. Mm-hmm. Ended up I went to go pay for my semester. Got offline. Went to the restaurant that I was working at full time as the manager. I said, "Listen, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to school. I want to learn this business. Yeah. Would you teach me this business and eventually let me become a partner if we open up another store?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." And I literally took that and just went with it and hope for the best.
Yeah, but I mean, that's also like a smart thinking. Like, I wasn't even like thinking that grand, but you know what I mean? I was like, oh, well, I don't really know what I want to do, so, let me work 110 hours for somebody else. And like, it's a brutal schedule. Like, I was working, 8 o'clock in the morning to the dinner shift, right, which ended at like 11. And then it's, there's no bartender tonight. Like, who called out sick? Like, oh, Dan, you don't mind hopping in, right? So now it's 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then I went back the next day to do it. So I was working like 100 hours a week, making the same amount of money each week. Had no freedom, like just talking to
every holiday,
like didn't see my mom for Mother's Day for 3 years.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It was the worst, dude. And like that just finally like enough was enough for me. The owner of the restaurant was just talking to me like I would never want anyone to be spoken to or whatever.
And it was enough was enough.
Yeah, finally enough was enough. And on top of that too, like, and I say this all the time, and I have no problem admitting it. The restaurant business, if you fall into that side of it, is very, it can be very toxic. So like, what do you think we're doing all day? Like we were drinking, right? You go out, you're drinking behind the bar, then you're going out. Everyone gets off of their shift at 11 p.m. You're going out.
Yep.
That might be a bad Instagram video too. That might be a bad snippet, but I'm very open about it. Like I was just drinking myself. I was poisoning myself like every single day. So I was just really unhealthy. I was really unhappy, and finally just. My buddy Cameron Cashiola from A&B Mortgages worked there at the time, messaged me and said that Weichert, right here in Farmingdale, was hiring. Like they were having like an open house situation. So I was like, oh, that's awesome.
So you went in there and just...
Yeah, that was it.
So that's where you started?
Yes.
And how long were you there before? I know you're with
That's Jared
now, right?
Yeah, so Jared and Joseph Garcia over here in Farmingdale. I think they just moved to Main Street actually. They trained me. They did an amazing job. They got everything started for me. And my buddy Cameron's the one that kind of hooked me up with them.
Gotcha.
But for me, it was just the commute was really tough. I don't really know much about, at least at the time, I didn't know much about Nassau. I don't have any connections.
Your focus is really stuff.
Yeah, right. So they did a really good job of training me. I did very well to begin with, and then I made the move.
And made the move. Mm-hmm. So now you're over there with at Colbo.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. So now that you're over there, do you feel like...
Wait, but you didn't tell me what was your story about you getting out of the restaurant business?
So literally, it came to the point where, very similar. I feel like everyone that gets out of the restaurant business, it's usually the same exact reason.
Yeah.
It's like you're working 100 hours a week.
Yep.
You're never seeing family. You're never seeing friends. Every single event, you're missing every event.
Yeah.
You're not seeing anybody, and you're getting the same salary every week. And I was, eventually I became a partner and I was getting my shares, but you're still getting the same salary. And yes, the business grows. You're gonna get a small piece, but there's a ceiling, for the most part. And I wanted to work, I don't mind working 80, 100 hours, but if it was solely for myself, where I know the busier I am, the more I'm going to bring in for myself. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't want to have to answer to anybody. I had 3 other partners,
everything is...
It's not like, oh, Josh wants to go do something, I want to do this, let's change this. No, it's, okay, let's bring it to A, B, and C, see if they all agree. If they don't all agree, it's a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
So it came to the point where it's like, let's just go for it. And I didn't jump. You just quit one day, right? Or
so it basically got to a point where and the funny thing is too, is the guy, so basically they brought in a manager, long story short, I was training him, but I knew I was training my quote unquote replacement in a sense. So at that point, I knew what was coming, so I started doing my class online while I was managing, doing everything, right? So I would literally have, I don't know, whatever. I would have the class running, right? And I would go out and do stuff, and then I would come back and click next,
Oh yeah.
For the
I
class.
think everybody does. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah. But I was so, and then I kind of just timed it perfectly. Where like one day, like I knew it was coming. Like he was going to demote me, which probably deserved. I shouldn't have been there in the first place. You know, was talking to me a certain way, and he was like, "Do you want to stay, or do you want to, and take this position as like the assistant manager? Like, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Thank you very much. Like I'll see you later." Yeah. And then I just got my license. Had like 3 or 4 months of rent saved up, and it's not like a woe is me. Like I definitely could have asked my parents if I needed to, but
you obviously try not to.
Right, and I would also never, because I know how hard they both work. So like for me, it was just kind of like I was cash and change.
Whatever you had to do to make sure like you didn't have to go back there.
My first closing, I had to literally I used to put $5 in my gas tank. And I know that because like when you do your 1099, your taxes, now you gotta be like, well, this is an expense. So like
you're going through $5 gas.
It's like has five. Like my guy's like, you buying Skittles? Like what are you doing? I'm like, no, I was filling my tank up.
Just to get to the closing.
Yeah, just to get to a quarter mile, to get to a closing. It was so bad. But I'll never forget that. Like I'll never forget that feeling ever in a million years. And now like the simple thing of just like filling
up your tank, you're like, oh, this feels great.
I'm like, hey, buddy, you see me? Like, it's $45. Like, just filled up. Like, here, it's all yours. You're like, keep it a warm for you.
I see all that has 50. 50. You're like, oh, why has things have changed?
Yeah, but it's like those little things that like I always think back on. Like, I'll never forget.
Yeah, where you came from.
Right, and like you'll never forget being in the weeds at like whatever time of night. You got 3 partners and you're in a full suit. You're running food down and you're making drinks.
Legit, nothing worse.
Nothing.
The worst real estate deal doesn't even come close.
I
mean, maybe it comes close, but I think restaurant may still get it.
I agree. It's different. It's a different, like the other day I had a listing in the house next to it, like literally went on fire. So like we always say we're putting out fire, like
putting out fires, and you were literally putting out fires.
Figuratively, yeah.
That's unreal.
That's a tough one. Like when you get that call, like that's
not a good call.
That's like being in the weeds with like 13 tables at a restaurant.
Yeah, and the tickets don't stop.
Yeah. You're on the slot machine. Yeah, and you're just one after the next. Ding, ding, ding. Like I have thoughts of that all the time.
Nightmares.
Man, it's nightmares. Yeah.
Nightmares. So. Fast forward, you get your real estate license, you start doing business. When did you really start taking off, or what did you do in the beginning to really get the ball? Let me backtrack. I would say we want so many realtors to really listen into this, because I feel, where you came from and how we both started, I'm going to assume are going to be very similar, paths. Yeah. And what they can take away from this to really get themselves going for the people that are just starting, I think could really take away a lot of knowledge from. Especially yourself. I look up to your videos and all this stuff, and like I see myself. I'm like, okay, I'm doing 50 deals this year. This guy's doing 150. That means next year I should do 75.
And like 50, just so we can get that out there. Like 50 deals a year, the average agent full time does 6 deals a year. So I mean, I'm not the math guy here, but that's you're pretty significantly doing some serious stuff. And
we're definitely both crazy busy, but that's the people I look up to. You want to get to that level. You should want to.
Right.
Some people are comfortable. They do their 10 deals, 20 deals a year, whatever the case may be, and they're very comfortable and they're very happy with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's the next level of people that want to keep pushing the envelope, and that's where we kind of fall into in that envelope. So when you first started, what did you really start doing to get yourself started? Obviously, you didn't have your Instagram at 30,000 followers right now, and you were just getting started. You're still new, learning. Like, how did you really get the ball moving?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I first got my license, nobody's gonna give me any business, especially like I was 24 years old, like drinking myself to death in the restaurant business. No one can give me a business right off the start. So basically what I had to do was I would, go to the steps for the auctions and foreclosures. I would give my card around. I would call for sale by owners, expired. I did all of that, all the prospecting, everything that really you need to do from the very beginning to try and get your name out there. And fortunately for me, and it's probably a very similar situation, like I used to bring my dad around. I mean, again, I don't know if I should, whatever. I used to bring my father around to for sale by owners. And
listen, you gotta get your foot in the door somehow.
Yeah, and I would say he was a buyer, and like my dad is like typically not, right away, like he's not the buyer, like he's like in construction, like he built out, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
So like I would say, Dad, like just, play it cool, like just walk around and like just don't blow our cover type of thing. And naturally he's walking around running the hot water and like in the shower, oh, what kind of tiles or something, like right away the guy was just, looks out the window. My father has an Oneil and it was like his landscaping company. Big print, like 42 font bold on his truck. Couldn't miss it. The guy looks out his window and just is like, all right, what's the deal here? Long story short, wound up like loving the fact that I was hustling and like respected that. Gave me a listing and then it just kind of snowballed.
So you went to a for sale by owner where your dad is the potential buyer, quote unquote.
Yeah.
The guy loved that you actually showed up, even though you didn't have a buyer with you.
Yeah.
That you were like a go-getter, basically. He's like, I want you to list my house.
Yeah, and then from there, like I used that as ammo to like go to every other house in the neighborhood, or like my Facebook, like every
I've been
person
bringing
in
my dad to
member.
every single place.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, like it worked, and you know, I'm very fortunate that it did, and it's a funny story. Like now, my girlfriend lives in what I was telling you about.
Oh, in the house.
2.5 years later, and like continues to refer, like, and he's one of my best friends now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, after.
And of course, like that's me doing everything, and like that just happened to like that just was what like I think of when I think back on it. But like there's so much other stuff, but really it was just prospecting for semi-owners, it was expires, it was social media, it was all of that at once.
Right.
And then kind of just perfect storm.
Kind of ruled up. So now, obviously you've seen what kind of works for you, what doesn't work. Obviously, everyone has certain things that are going to work for them that may not work for me, or works for you,
right.
Vice versa. What do you think are like the key things that if you had to say up to now, like for new agents, what would your focus really be to get them, getting to those 10 deals instead of like the average 5 or 6 deals a year, like to get them to the next level?
So to go from like 5 to...
Yeah, to go from say 5 to 10 deals,
I mean, it's prospecting. Like really, that's the biggest thing. Like a lot of what I find is the newer agents that do have a little bit of success, right? They focus so much on the deals that they do have, like the 2 or 3 contracts, right? And that's all they focus on, and they're kind of all over the place, right? And they don't realize that, well, if you're focusing too much on these 3 deals that are already done under contract, and you don't focus on how you got those deals, or you don't remember how you got those deals, you're going to go into a slope.
Right.
So now you're just going to do those 3 deals that month, and then
you're not looking forward to the...
Right, so like you always have to keep in mind, whether it's 50 deals under contract, 100 deals under contract, whatever it is, you have to remember what got you those deals. You have to continue to prospect. You can't let up off the gas.
Yeah,
so
I feel like a lot of people definitely let up.
Yeah.
They get comfortable. They say, oh, we got 6 deals closing this month. They're getting paid good money. And then they forget, okay, well, there's nothing closing the next month or the month after unless you keep moving.
Yeah, and it's also like, it's also what you put into it too. Like when I first got my license, and I don't think I've ever even said this on camera, but I talk about it all the time, or at least I think about it all the time, I should say.
Right.
I used to take a nap. Like there was such thing as a nap. I swear to God.
How much would you pay for a nap now?
You wouldn't want to know. I wouldn't even be able to. Like that's like the craziest part. Like if I took a nap, I don't know. I couldn't.
You couldn't.
But back when I first got my license, like I had a couple deals in a contract. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll throw my phone in. I'm taking a nap midday on a Monday from 12 to 2. I'm going to sleep. Like what?
Unreal.
I couldn't even stomach it. I am looking at my phone right now. Like
you're itching.
You're telling me I'm like
dancing
around. People are like, what the hell's wrong with this kid? I'm looking at my.
So. All right, so now we'll go into that. So, when you're busy, my wife, I almost have to like set away time. Otherwise, she'll literally kill me.
Yeah.
Like it's, oh, can we go out to eat? Like she asked me today, can we go out to eat? I'm like, I have a podcast. She goes, can we go out to eat like 7:30? I'm like, honestly, we start at 6:30. We don't start till like 7 all the time. It's gonna be at 45 minutes. By the time we wrap up, it's 8 o'clock. By the time I get home, it's 8:30.
Well, then you also
and then I gotta still answer everybody back and go through all the emails that I missed for the last hour and a half. Before you know it, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you want to go out to eat at like 10:30? Yeah. And she goes, obviously not. So I'm like,
that's so funny. Same thing.
How do you kind of delegate time for? Obviously, you need time for yourself. Mm-hmm. You need time. You have a girlfriend, fiance, girlfriend.
Girlfriend, yeah.
Girlfriend.
Yep.
So obviously, if you want to stay together, you got to give her some type of attention.
Yeah.
So I know, like, we have calendars shared, me and her. She has her own. My wife has her own business.
That's pretty smart.
So and obviously I have my own business. So we delegate with time. We'll put in the calendar. Okay, time for us, and block it out.
Yeah, that's smart.
And we share our calendars.
See, that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, you can learn something. We can both learn from each other. Like,
right.
Grace is gonna listen to this. You hear that, Grace? You should share your calendar with me, and you can have mine.
Come on, Grace, link up calendars.
Yeah, exactly. Share, get my calendar on yours. Now you'll know.
Now you know what my schedule is.
Yes.
Do you guys?
Right,
how do you really divide like any time? Obviously, you have work time, you time, girlfriend time, Islander time.
Yeah, the time was tough this year. But no, to be honest with you, like I'm not gonna, come on here and pretend like I'm a fraud. Like I'm having a very tough time with that. I'm having a really tough time right now with work-life balance. I haven't really taken a day off. Like so, I love to golf. Like that's kind of like aside from the Islanders, like that's my thing. Right? I love to just go for a couple hours golf and then that's it. I haven't golfed since the beginning of July.
Really?
Yeah, I have a membership I'm paying for. Like to call me every day. Like I'm
never
paying just to keep my clubs there. It's like. It's just been so busy, so like I'm not gonna say that I'm someone I'm not. I'm not gonna be a fraud. I'm definitely drowning, and I recognize that, and I'm self-aware of it, and I know what I need to do to get myself out of the situation. It's just it's very, very tough. Like if you have a wife, if you have kids, you have a girlfriend, like people don't realize we're 24/7.
Yeah.
There is like, my girlfriend is very, very understanding, which
yeah,
is,
luckily, so like if you don't have someone understanding in this business,
you can't.
It's never working.
You can't.
Like they have to understand that, and luckily, we're in the same boat where like they both understand.
Yeah.
They understand like that's your baby, like that's your business, and your phone is
You hunt what what's the saying? Like you hunt, you eat what you hunt, or you hunt what you eat.
Eat what you kill.
Yeah, something like that. You eat what you hunt. I think that's what it is, right? Like
yeah, that makes sense. You eat what you hunt.
Yeah,
we'll go with it,
right? But like if not, like if I didn't, right? So like, she always says like, it's not like a night. Like you really need to answer that. Well, kind of, because if I don't, like
somebody else maybe.
Yeah, or that, or maybe I don't have the offer. Maybe I don't have an inspection set up for tomorrow. So like, it's definitely like in a way like a sickness, I think too.
It is.
It's definitely a little bit of a sickness, but it's also just that drive and that motivation that we have.
Right.
But fortunately for me, I don't share my calendar with Grace yet, but she's very understanding.
Do you shut your phone off at any time of night when you say like
No.
after 11 o'clock I'm not answering, or it's 24/7?
It's 24/7.
See, I do the same thing. She kind of kills me. There'll be like times I'll get messages at like 12 o'clock at night. She's like, "Who is that?" I was like, don't I was like, "You don't even want to know."
Yeah, no,
exactly. It's like this guy's closing tomorrow. He forgot to go to the bank and get checks. I'm like,
right, and you're dealing with that at midnight. But so this is what this is my biggest struggle is. I talk to people that I look up to, like Beth Lowe and Mark Donnelly and Chris Backus, and like they all, their phones off at a certain point in time, no reception, like that's it. Like
I feel like a lot of people do that.
Yeah, man, that's how it should be. Like
Yeah.
that really is like that's what I want to get to. But right now, like I just don't have that. So for example, Brian Karp does a lot of business, right? Like arguably probably the number one on the island. I think.
What, like 200 plus houses
Yeah,
last year with
madness.
some ridiculous number.
It's insane. So like today, for example, like I'm getting to the point where like, all right, this can't just be like, this can't be it. You know what I mean? Like there's gotta be
a better way.
Yeah, like and a lot of people that don't know him, like they hate on him because he does so much business, and like, okay, that's the territory. But I just had to call him and be like, listen.
How do you do it?
Not even like how do you do it, but just like I kind of, if I'm gonna do X, like, and you're doing Y, like, I know that if there's someone that can understand, like.
Right, he'll understand where you're coming from.
I was on the floor laughing for 20 minutes today, like, because same stuff I'm going through, he's going through, but times two.
Right.
So he said it himself, like, fortunately my wife, is very understanding, and she knows what I have to do, and he's like, I go to coach my son's football game, and, I don't have my phone on me for 2 hours. The entire rest of the night I'm spent, catching up, right? And it made me feel better, like hearing
that there's other people in the same boat.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm not bragging about it. It's not a good thing to be like. I would love so much, especially right now, to be able to have time off and do those kinds of things. And I just know it's something I'm self-aware of. Now, it's something I'm working on.
Are you like busier like with stuff like that because you need time with paperwork, like where you could hire an assistant to delegate paperwork, where you could focus more on the list. You get a list and you do the paperwork there. Pass it off to your assistant to file everything away. Get the photos listed. Update MLS and do all that stuff so you could delegate yourself. Are you think you're at that stage yet? Or
yeah, I need more.
You need more than that.
I need more help. That's my problem. Is I need more help.
Do you have assistants already?
Yeah.
And you still
need more help.
Need more.
Yeah. But my thing is too. We were talking about this off the air. Like I think a lot of the success is because I'm there. Like I'm there able to show the house, because a lot of times, like if you had a listing in Massapequa Park right now and I went there to go sell it, like, yeah, I'm gonna do as much research as I can, but like if they go, hey, where are you gonna go get pizza? I don't know.
Right,
where are you gonna go, where's the local tropical smoothie? I don't know. So for me, like being at some of my listings a lot of the time, I feel like helps because
you know the area better than the back of your hand.
So like that's one of the biggest problems I have too, is like, Carp has a very good system where like, I was talking to him, and he hits the E, like E on his keyboard,
right?
And it says like, I don't handle showings, please. Well, please call showing time. Like that's genius. Like the amount of times I spent on the phone.
Dude, not to cut you off, I literally watched one of his videos one time, and he's like, I wrote hi. Dude, I write hi, and it writes like a whole message.
Yes.
So I literally, from that day, I copied that. Now when I write hi.
So I'm on the phone with him, and he's going, watch, and he hits like H, and it's. I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
That's genius.
It is.
The amount of times I spend, the amount of minutes or hours a day I spend on the phone just saying that, hey, sorry, I'm not handling showings, or we have multiple,
Yeah.
That little stuff, like, that makes up for like 4 hours of my day.
It's true, because, we market on Zillow, like we were talking about prior also, and every time I would answer the phone, I used to write out this whole message. Oh, nice speaking with you. Here's my, here's my Zillow page. Look at all our reviews. Here's my business card. Here's my website. Blah, blah, blah. since I watched this video, now I just write hi. It automatically types out the whole paragraph. I just have to hit send.
Yeah, it's smart.
I'm like, I should have done this last year. I literally wasted probably 20 hours of my life.
Yep.
You know, it's just like...
It's genius. But so like, that's the same way. That's something that I know that I need to do and implement. And listen, everything is a work in progress. Like, there's nobody like...
No one's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Like, if he's doing 200 and some odd deals and he's ready to pull his hair out, he's ready to throw his phone in the...
He already got no hair. Go figure.
Yeah. No, he's got a nice, he's got a good look to him.
Yeah.
He's very, we just got off on a way of a tangent, but he rocks those seersucker suits that I respect very much. I like to dress too, as do you, obviously.
Yeah, listen, it's always nice to, present yourself well.
100%. But so if he's, potentially drowning with 200 sales and he's got X amount of all the help and he's been doing it for a very long time, like,
right.
That to me it makes me feel a little bit better.
It makes you feel like, okay, I'm not totally wrong here. Like,
right.
it's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And granted, like, I know I'm self-aware and there's things I need to implement to make my life easier, but right now we're in a crazy time. This is the craziest market in over a decade, and
literally probably the most, even realtors that have been in the market for 20, 30 years, they're even saying like this is the craziest thing they've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't go away anytime soon, but...
What's your prediction?
That's tough to say. Like, how so? Like,
so I say the market's going to stay the same with interest rates. Obviously that's going to be like a big thing for people right now.
Mm-hmm.
Interest rates, the money's so cheap for people to take all this, all these loans out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 2 to 3 years that the market's still going to stay.
But like this,
in the sellers,
like this, or just sellers market.
Sellers market, where like the prices are still going to be going through the roof because there's low inventory and a lot of buyers because the interest rates are so low.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think it's going to stay similar like this for like at least two more years, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, we both got. So how long you had? 2 years, 2.5 years?
2.5 years, yeah.
All right, so same thing.
Yeah,
so I mean, since we really have gotten into this industry, it's been a seller's market. It's been crazy. There's been crazy numbers. My prediction is that it's going to stay that way. It's going to be a seller's market. There's going to be low inventory. There's going to be low interest rates. I just don't know if it's going to be like what we just went through from like, when did we go back? July 15th? From like July 15th until like today, like yesterday. Right. I don't know if like that could be the case. I think that was just kind of like a perfect storm scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so much built up,
I mean, it was just madness.
Yeah, it really was.
So I don't know if that's going to be the case, and I do think like now that it's fall, people already kind of got into the school district, so I think it's going to slow down a little bit, but I do think that it's going to remain the same in a seller's market for a very long time, and we're not going to have any sort of market crash. Nothing like that.
I don't think we're going to have a vacation either for a long time. It's going to be pretty busy.
You got to make one though. Like that's, we went to LA in February, and I went to Cancun in January. So like I recognize that, and I'm doing it. But
are you answering the phone on vacation?
Of course.
So you're not on vacation. You're just answering the phone from the beach.
Yeah, but okay, but it's a big difference. Like I'd rather answer the phone on the beach on a jet ski with like seeing my feet through the water, crystal blue, the pina colada, than sitting in my house.
100%.
So.
No, it's just so crazy the way everything's really kind of developing and where it goes. Like nobody knows, but that's the thing. Nobody knows. If the market takes a hit and it shits the bed in 6 months, it's going to be just as hard for us to find a deal than we are right now, where they're almost coming to your beck and call. Yeah. So it's when it's there, you got to put time in, and you really just got to bust your ass when it's there, because you don't know when it's not going to be.
I mean, listen, I could be complaining about a lot of other things. Right. I could be complaining I don't have any business, or I need business, or I could be napping every day. It's a good problem to have. And I understand that. It's just, if it does remain the same, and in my opinion too, like, if the market did go that route, because of what you're doing on social media, because of how you're treating your clients and the good job that you're doing, I think that you will still be busy. Right. Whereas a lot of maybe other people wouldn't be. So I feel as if I'm in the same position. So I would hope so, right?
Well, of course.
So I think we're always going to be busy. It's just.
So I guess leading into the social media aspect of you, obviously that's become a gigantic part of, I would say, your business. Absolutely. You have 30,000 plus followers in the last. How many years you've been doing it? 2.5 years, 2 years?
Yeah, I had some followers before I got into real estate, but yeah, definitely took off.
I guess what was like the real push where you started really focusing on the social media, like that brought you to the first 5,000? You hit the 10,000 follower milestone. Then obviously from there you just keep up it. I'm sure it just starts taking off once you hit that number.
So it really was just I always was organically I grew up with a phone in my hand. My parents were divorced when I was 18 months old. Right. So I always had the phone when I was in 5th and 6th grade, and it was just organic for me to begin with. And then it kind of just hit a new level. I was like, all right, well, nobody else is doing this. Like, how am I going to separate myself and be different? And also, how am I going to have fun? Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing every day, like if you're not having fun,
it's miserable.
We're back to where we were 2.5 years ago.
Right. So let's go back behind the bar.
You know, for me, it was just, okay, how can I be different? How can I be unique? And how can I have as much fun as possible?
Right, you could tell like you're loving it when you're doing these videos.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell like, I mean, explain some of the things you've done so far.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
really, on your social media, what you've done, that's been like the top ones that people really are getting you followers, or people are really commenting you and saying, oh, yo, dude, I just saw you, you know, on that jet ski, or, you know, what
Yeah,
are
I
you
would say
saying?
that the jet ski video was a pretty good one. The pool video, me floating, that's been recreated a couple of times, so that's pretty cool to see that I inspired other people. That one got a lot of views.
It definitely inspires, because I'm telling you, I have a jet ski.
Uh-huh.
So when I saw your jet ski, I was like, I gotta do a jet ski video. I was like, this guy's genius.
But
I was like,
that's what it's supposed to. That's like,
you know,
I appreciate that, because that means I appreciate
it's
that.
true.
Right.
And you know, I told Charles the same thing when I met him for the first time in person. I was like, and we started talking about you guys in general. Just like, these are the people like I look up to, because you want they think outside the box, and that's kind of the route that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
You know, when I just started doing the social media thing, I had 300, 400 followers in the last 4 months. Now we have
Yeah,
like 1,500 or 1,600, whatever the case may be. But
You've actually tripled, really, in theory, like you're fine, you know what I mean?
And
so
all organic, like we're not buying all these people have like 50, 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
They're all fake. They
have 50,000
50
followers
likes on the photo.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like they're all
Something
fake.
right.
You know, something's wrong here. So, you know, I saw your jet ski video. I was like, I don't have a listing on the water, but I was like, I have a jet ski. Let's go. You know, go do something.
Absolutely. You don't need
put something together.
You don't need a listing on the water for that. And like my thought process was, it was just.
I mean,
I'm like,
yeah, that's perfect.
Can you fit it? You know, I was like, can you fit a boat? He's like, yeah, you can fit a boat. I'm like, all right, I don't know if I can get a boat like this afternoon, but I can probably get a jet ski. So like, that's, you know, kind of how it came together. But that did really well. The pool video did really well. The open house video did really well. That was pretty interesting.
Is that the one where you're directing traffic?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, definitely very, very interesting. But I mean, to me, like, that's just us being us, right? Like, I think it's hilarious. And I'm drawing a blank, but there was others that have done really well, and a lot of like the HGTV ones.
What about the last one with the horse?
Oh yeah, the horse.
I mean, how do you forget the horse?
I mean, it's been a long day, man. It's been a long day.
I mean, you do listing on a horse. I mean, that's not forgettable.
No, yeah. So that one, that was funny. Like that video, people think like, wow, how many takes? How long? We literally shoot these videos. I'm not even exaggerating, in like 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so crazy because my video guy texted me the other day, like my first ever video, I thought was like, killed it. It's sick. Did amazing, right? I look, like he sent it to me the other day, he's like, look how far you've come on camera.
And it's true, the more and more you do it.
Welcome to the Three Scouts program, and he's took it, you know, I'm gonna ride my bike and make it what? You know, and I'm like, yes! That's it! Like, that's a take!
It's the energy, it's true, like the energy that you bring to your videos,
Yeah.
it really does make a lot of the video. If you're just sitting back there, yes, welcome to, you know, if you were to, I think, what was their last listing, Anacord or something like that with the horse? You know, if you're sitting back there, hey, this is Dan Oneil from 3 Anacord, you're gonna be like, all right, next, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're, you know, pretending like you're on a horse and whatever, neighing.
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing too. So like, we had to rent the horse. So like, the horse woman that we rented it from was like, yeah, you should do a take where you say like, hey, howdy neighbors. So I'm like, all right, like just say, you know what I mean? Like just to get this off my plate. Like, yeah, okay, I'll say it. And I did. And then like, that was of course the only one.
That was the
where,
opening pitch, and that was like it.
That was the only one where the horse isn't like about to buck me off the back of him. But like, it turned out like people thought that was funny, like, and it worked. So listen, you know what? The point of me saying that was just like, if I look back on the beginning of my videos, if I didn't start somewhere, I wouldn't be doing the horse video in 2 takes or in 20 minutes. Like, you have to just put yourself out there. And not
who
be
cares
afraid
what people say? And you know, they're gonna look ridiculous. Like I just said, it is what it is. If people don't like it, whatever. But if they don't like it, they'll always get a laugh out of it.
Yeah.
They'll be like, look at this idiot. And
people ask me too, like, did you have to have the helmet on? Like, you know, is that like a safety thing? Like, no, I wanted to because I looked ridiculous and that's gonna get more, like, even if people don't like me, if people from growing, whatever it is, right? Like, I feel as if I'm very genuine, so it's hard not to, but like, listen, you know, when anytime you're doing something, people are gonna, you have a target on your back. So, at the very least, like, even if people don't like me, like, you gotta share that video. Like, that is hilarious. You're making fun of me.
Yeah,
I don't care. Like, make fun of me all you want.
Either way, they're sharing it.
Either way, they're sharing it.
Good or bad. Either way, they're sharing it.
Either way. So that's why I put the helmet on. Like, I tried to even get crazier with it. It's just I didn't have time. But I wanted to put like an entire like jockey outfit on.
That would have been hilarious. Like, now
I just gave someone a great idea. So
yeah. Well, you know, I look at your stuff. I was like, how can we keep going over the top? So we have like 2 that we're recording the next like week that we don't, you know, it takes, people don't understand, it takes like time to like book all the stuff, get it all together. It's not like, oh, you know, just have an idea, like we're able to just go shoot it. You gotta get a prop here, you gotta this, that, you know, you gotta get the film crew together.
Yeah.
But like, it makes me want to push the envelope. And I think that that's very important for all realtors to understand, to take things from other realtors put your own spin on it and, you know, propel yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people are kind of scared to, you know, oh, he did something similar, I shouldn't really do that. Listen, if anything, he's going to be like proud that
there's a difference because there are some people that like
that literally copy
like to a T. Like they might like voiceover and everything. Like it's
well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in that to me, like okay, I'm happy to inspire, but like
be original.
You also have to. Well, it's not even that. Just creativity. Like for me, I'm honored and I'm humbled and I'm proud that people want to step up and or do those videos. But you have to put your own unique spin on it. So like you, for prime example, that jet ski video. You didn't do what I did.
Right.
Just because you're on a jet ski, that's not anything to do with me.
Right.
It's not like you were welcome to 3129 June. You know what I'm saying? Like you did your own video, and like that's amazing. Like that's what it should be. Like you took the concept and you put your own spin on it. If you go up, show up at a listing and you say, welcome to 21, how did I? It's like, okay, that's a little bit like maybe shoot me a text before, hey, like I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing is you have to be able to put your own, like, I want you to do another video, I want you to jump out of a plane, so now I gotta go to Mars.
Well, I won't say I'm jumping out of a plane, but since you brought it up, I'll show you a quick picture of the prop that's being used in 2 weeks. So I went skydiving once, I said I'll never go again. One was enough. I got the video, I was like, alright, I got everything I need, I don't really need anything else. But I'll show you real quick the prop that we're using, just because now that you brought it up, I kind of have to, but like this is the next prop.
Oh my God, dude, you're actually, I mean, I keep saying that, like that's...
So, just pushing the envelope, it's like, I started looking online, I was like, what can we do that's like really like out there, like no one has some type of video like that. I was like, yeah, we'll do that. And we're like called up and they're like, yeah, I explained to the pilot what I'm thinking of. And he goes, well, I can't ever say I had this request before, but yeah, we can do it.
Guy probably thinks you're an absolute lunatic.
He absolutely thinks I'm probably like either a total idiot or like probably the smartest guy alive.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta think too, like, I go on these listing appointments, so like I just did that video that like for me was like a little bit borderline. You know, I dressed up in like different characters and stuff like that. Maybe it was like a little bit borderline.
That was pretty funny though.
But it was funny, right? So like I did that in 20 minutes. Like I got the stuff from Party City, but like pitching that idea or pitching to a seller that like I don't know, like hey, I'm gonna rent a horse. Hey, I'm gonna pull up on a jet ski, like just leave the house for a couple hours. You know, like pitching, looking people in the eye and telling them, like even the White Club video, like of me floating in the pool in a donut.
They think you're like a sick joke.
It's not even that. It's just like you have to have the confidence. To, like, hey, listen, this is what I'm going to do. Like, just trust me.
Do you use that stuff towards like when you go on listing presentations for people that don't know you as well? Obviously, you have like I'm sure you have a big following and people like know your name by now. Especially in the areas that you focus on. Yeah. Do you show them? Hey, listen, I do these crazy things, but I get 20,000 hits on them.
You kind of have to.
really
Especially with some of
puts
these
it all
ideas.
together.
Yeah, like if you did these ideas and you're not selling it or you're not getting any views or any likes, like. Of course, it's difficult when you meet somebody that maybe doesn't understand social media or doesn't use it.
Right.
It's up to you.
But you can't beat around the numbers. Like if you show them, like, listen, I just did this. We hit 30,000 views on this.
Yeah.
Compared to someone that's not doing this, they're going to get the standard MLS views and stuff like that. That's going to separate you from another agent. Like what makes yourself different.
Absolutely.
That's because when you see 30,000 hits, I mean, you can't. Obviously the guy's doing something right.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, even if it's people making fun of me, like it's still getting shared. People are still seeing it,
no matter what.
And what happens is, at the end of the day, the same people that maybe weren't a fan of the stuff that I'm doing,
right?
Now they're calling me or texting me like for advice or like, hey, you're killing it. So like it goes back to you just can't be afraid of what people are going to say or what people are going to think. Just have the confidence to do it.
Yeah, that's what.
Even if it's not good from the start, like live videos, all this different social media, like
you just do it all.
Yeah. And gotta try it.
You don't know what's gonna work until.
Yeah. Some of the videos that I've done that, like I'm like, oh, this might be a flop. Like maybe the most I've ever had.
Yeah, the ones
vice versa. The ones that
you don't expect, they're always the winners.
It's gonna be sick. Like I can't wait.
It's a done.
People. Yeah, it's a done. Yeah. So like it's just you gotta try and see what works.
Right. So separate from social media now. Obviously, you get a lot of clients, I'm sure, from social media, or they see you from social media, or their friends share you and be like, oh, dude, you gotta use my buddy Dan, like, he's crushing it. How'd you get involved with, we were talking before, we started going live, obviously you have a big investor that you do a lot of business with. How did you get, like, your foot in the door? Like, a lot of realtors, I feel like they want to look into getting business with a developer. They always say, find a developer and you'll never run dry, basically. They're always looking for business, you always have deals, blah, blah, blah. How did you really get into the loop of dealing with an investor, like Jeremiah, and, how'd that really develop and how'd that come about?
Yeah, so Jeremiah with Suffolk County House Buyers, basically I serve as like his acquisition manager with Zach Schur, who's also with Cola Banker. Me and him both split the acquisitions. We split all listings that we get. It's a really unique and different model and setup. but it works for us, and it's working for Jeremiah, and we're, 100 deal a year maybe. Zach and I both get a ton of listings from it as well.
Right.
But the funny thing is, so like how it all started is he was using somebody else as his acquisition manager.
And for people, I guess, that are just getting into it, like when you say acquisition manager, like what does that really entail? Like what is that?
So Jeremiah would pay for marketing and whatever, right? And then somebody would call him and say, hey, I'm interested in a potential cash offer, or I want to list my house, can you help? And then at that point, we go on the appointment.
He would send you there.
But so before us, he sent somebody else, and like it didn't work out.
Okay.
So long story short, and I don't think Jeremiah even knows this, but he reached, this is all social media, like how it all ties in.
He reached out to you through social media?
Yes, but not to do this. Totally different. Message me and I'm like brand new, like I'm green. I have like maybe like only a couple. Oh no, I guess that's not true. Maybe I was doing pretty well. I guess it was maybe like a year ago, maybe a little bit over. But I didn't have like nothing like that, right? And I definitely didn't have a lot of buyers. Like that was the biggest thing. Is I think maybe I'm exaggerating, but I didn't have a lot of buyers. Okay. So he just randomly reaches out to me like, hey, I'm having a tough time selling whatever it was, 123 Main Street, Mount Sinai. Like, you have anyone for it? And I'm like, I have anyone for it. They're like, no, I don't. I don't have that many buyers. And this is the first time he may hear my side of this. So like I tell him, yeah, I got you. I'll send it out. Like I maybe sent it to 3 people. Everyone's like, no, thank you. What are the odds that like one of the actual serious people that I'm working with, like, and the house was on the market for like a month, text me that next morning like, hey, we really want to see 123 Main Street. Like, no. And I'm like, oh my god. So I text him. I'm like, yeah, dude, I got someone. Yeah. And so it gets better. They love the house. Oh. They love the house. Like,
you can't ask for a better storm.
Sold the house, carried the deal. I carried it on the other side of things too.
Right.
Helped him out. Like he was very happy. It was such a smooth and easy deal. Then he messaged me on Facebook again, and so now we kind of know each other. We meet, we met finally in person after the deal's done. And he's like, hey, I have somebody. They're looking for a rental. It's maybe like $1,000 budget. It's gonna be really hard to find. It's in these areas. Like I know you're probably busy, but like if you think of anything, let me know. I took that guy and I showed him around like
everywhere.
So many apartments. And like he didn't have any money to pay for it. Like Jeremiah was paying for it.
Right.
But at that point, I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Like maybe it's a sign of good faith. Like maybe one day is.
You never know what it leads to.
And what do you know? Fast forward, he was like, hey, I'm not happy with my current acquisition manager. I see you and Zach doing very well. Like, would you guys want to get dinner? And it's kind of like how.
And just took off from there.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. And like his wife, Mariana, is a real estate attorney on the island. So she does all of his closings. She does all of our closings.
Isn't that convenient?
Yeah, it's perfect. And then he has Connie, who is, like his, I wouldn't say like assistant, but virtual person. Right. She's not even here. She's in Texas, so she.
Virtual assistant.
Right, so she manages all our appointments, she sets them, and then Zach and I go on the appointment and we judge, is it a cash offer, is it a listing, and we take it from there.
So when you guys go there and you say, oh, this looks like to be a cash deal, or this should be, you should really sell it, you have equity in the home, like, right. you guys are going there and kind of ironing out the details, like, and finding out, are they upside down on the house, or if they should sell the house regular, if just put it on the market, if it's worth getting a cash offer, if there's CO issues or permit issues, or
exactly.
And then you would go back to Jeremiah and be like, this is how it, this is what's going on.
To a team.
And then if it's right, he buys it. If not, you list it.
Exactly. I mean, a little,
Well, obviously,
it's
not
that easy.
Dry, but
it's that easy. No, but yeah, that's basically the concept. Yeah, and yeah, that's given us a tremendous amount of business. It's taken us to the next level as well, and you find yourself a Jeremiah.
Yeah, so how do you find those?
Yeah, I don't know, you gotta get lucky, I guess, knock on wood.
Knock on wood, yeah.
But that's a funny story, right? Like, that's why.
What are the odds you're working with, you have 5 buyers total or 3 buyers total?
Probably wasn't even that many.
And one person, and you get that opportunity and just so happens they love that house and end up buying it, I mean.
Yeah, and of course there's like more to it, you know what I mean?
Of course.
But like, yeah, that's the short and sweet version of it is I kind of got lucky, yeah. I did get lucky.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, they say. It's what you do with it after. I mean, obviously you've been working together for how long now?
Now I'd say probably a little bit over a year.
So, I mean, he got rid of the other guy and you're still around, so.
Yeah, well, Zach and I. So he got rid of his first, so Zach and I now are doing his acquisitions and listings. And,
so, I mean, obviously you guys are doing something right for him if he's, you guys keep getting him business, you guys
and vice versa,
still going.
Exactly. We give him as much business as we possibly can, and then on the flip side of things, we get the listings and the acquisitions, and it's a win-win.
So, like, he's kind of like your go-to guy if you go on a listing appointment and they kind of like, I need like a cash buyer, like I can't sell this house regular. You just bring it to him basically and see if it's something.
Right now, like in my business, I don't really have a lot of that. It's not a lot of people that are looking for a cash offer. It's more so like, hey, we know you just sold so-and-so's house. Like, can you come list it and do a crazy video and sell it for a neighborhood record? So like, I don't have a lot of the off-market deals, but yeah, Jeremiah gives us a ton of business. Like, yeah, and you know what? It's doing right by everybody. So of course, Charles, I mean, we were talking about earlier, like Charles is, I love that man, like a brother,
I mean,
right?
Until you meet, even when he looks like a great guy on, on his social media, on his camera, all his stuff, but he's even like a better dude, like in person.
100%. Like he, 100%.
Damn
it, I said it.
100%.
I think I made it the whole time without saying it, I think.
Chalk it up to number one.
Yeah, all right. Well, 2, I said it twice. But Charles is a great guy. He definitely is. And I try and be that way too. Like the same way that you see Charles on social media, it's the same way that he is on his social media. And that's the best way to be. Like, there shouldn't be a discrepancy between what you see on someone's Instagram versus when you meet him in person.
100%.
And if there is, like...
See, you said it, now it's stuck in my head.
That's 3.
That's 3.
Oh, man, now it's going to be the...
It's all downhill from here, so just get used to it.
Absolutely, I almost said it again.
But, no, it's definitely true. Definitely true. A lot of people, they put on a facade.
Yeah.
And it really shows when you're like that legit person. Like, I see your stuff on social media. I had no idea how you were going to be in person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going to give this guy a call. I was like, he's crushing it. I want to have a podcast. I want him to come on. Maybe he'll come, maybe he won't. Let me reach out.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, dude, I'm down. I was like, all right, I'll meet him for the first time when he gets here. I'm like, I don't know what to expect, but...
And that's how a lot of, that's how a lot of stuff is. Like, I did a podcast a year ago that I capped at like a season 1, and I didn't even really necessarily know that much of what I was doing back then either. Like, that's the craziest thing. Learning every single day. But if you look back on those videos, like, all those people that I had on for the most part, like, I met the first time there. And then we have a great, like, and now I can call anyone that was on the podcast that even if I met them then,
still, right there,
give me advice, they'll help me out, and whatever I need. And I was fortunate enough when I very first got my license to meet, Beth Lowe, to meet Kyle Kelly, to do deals with all, Mark Donnelly, Amy Donnelly, Chris Backus, really the core of YPN. I was very fortunate too when I first got my license to have met them and do deals with them because they really took me under their wing and they really have helped me propel to the level that I'm trying to get to.
And speaking of YPN, real quick, just because you brought it up, I know you're the treasurer?
On the slate.
On
so
the
I guess
slate?
it's not official yet. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
you're proposed to be the treasurer. So what does that really entail? Like these jobs that everyone, I'm the president of the YPN, I'm vice president, I'm treasurer.
Are you in the YPN yet?
I honestly never really even got into it or really knew anything about it.
See?
I really didn't follow
Beth, Mark, Amy, Chris, Kyle Kelly, here we go.
So
this is.
I never honestly looked into it until
sign up
this year when I was nominated for where I won, I guess, top 20 one of the top 20 under 40s for this year. I know you were last year or the year before.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was just saying.
So
now you have to, man.
So I didn't really start looking into it till that happened.
Yeah.
I was just like, when I was like brought through the system, I kind of like that was all kind of set to the side. I really didn't know much about it.
Right.
So now that I'm getting out there more, social media, I'm paying attention to more and more things.
And that's a huge accomplishment. That's a very, very big accomplishment. Like you should be very proud of that.
Oh, I was proud. I appreciate,
And now you need to get more involved.
Yeah. So now when I saw it, I was like, what is this all about? But obviously I saw like they already put like the slate, like you said, the slate together. But like, what does that really entail? Like, what are you guys really doing? For realtors, I guess in general.
Yeah. So I mean, first and foremost, it's an amazing network of young professionals, right? So it could be young at heart. Doesn't really matter what your age is. It's just young at heart, right?
Okay.
So we're bringing together an entire network. So you have attorneys, you have lenders, you have real estate professionals, you have mortgage people, whatever, title, whatever it is, inspectors. Now we have events where you get to meet everybody.
Gotcha.
You have panels that you can learn from. You have educational classes. You have these people now, like I said, Beth and all these, everyone that's been helping me, kind of mentoring me.
Right.
You have them there as an asset because if not, like, I don't know what I would be doing right now. So you have the network, right? That's obviously number one. And then you also have the philanthropy of it. So they do a ton of giving back for the Ronald McDonald House, for an amazing an amazing range of charities. And it's fulfilling. Like they're doing good by the community. They're raising up a ton of people. The average failure rate in this business is like 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous, yeah.
So
I mean, I think they say like the first year, like 80% or maybe 90% don't go to the year 2.
So you want to know what's kind of very interesting? There's only been, I think, one person that's ever won that award, top 240, that is not in the business today.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's so. I mean, you figure it's probably been around for like 10 years, maybe.
You figure
more.
if you make it, you're gonna be in it for a while. I guess that's a good sign.
I mean, when you're 199 for 200,
right,
or whatever the number is,
I'll take those odds. Yeah.
That's very good. So that award carries a lot of weight. Like I said, the networking, and obviously, like you being now a director, you getting more involved, like it's changing the community for the better.
Right. Do you feel like you get leads from it? Do you feel like it helps you in that aspect of building up your brand, or people just kind of see you more? It's just something that you're kind of like giving back. You're kind of giving back like to the realtors of, you know.
Think about it now. Like, let's say that we met at a a networking event for the YPN. If you had an offer on one of my deals, and now that I know you, right, and I met you, it's probably going to go a lot further than somebody that I don't know.
Right. You kind of know somebody behind the offer that's being written, and you know, okay, this guy gets the deal done. It's
going to follow on social media.
Right.
You follow on Facebook. You have someone rooting for you. You have a friend. You have advice. You have whatever. So now imagine that just on like.
Makes sense.
A 10x. I won't say 100, but a 10x scale.
Right.
So that's what it's meant for, and it's great to be able to give back and do the philanthropy and have that network around you, and that award too. 199 out of 200 people are still in it and succeeding. Like, what does that tell you? It's a pretty prestigious award.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess once Corona stops and we actually have events, I'll have to.
Oh, and it's a great time. A lot of fun.
I mean, it sounds it. So we're definitely gonna come up and see one of those. But you know, so I guess now, where does Dan Oneil see them? You know, what's the next level of Dan Oneil?
I don't know. It's like I can ask you the same thing.
Are you looking to branch out?
Well, 2.5 years ago, would you ever think that we would be doing this?
I wouldn't think I was doing this 4 months ago.
So
you never know.
You never know.
I mean,
that should be the.
All I know is I'm busting my ass to get to that.
Yeah,
to keep going, but who knows where that's gonna go?
Exactly. So like, I get asked that all the time. I don't know.
Is there a goal that you have in mind of something that you, a year from now, where you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I set the most outrageous goals. You know, of course, like I want to go national, and I want to go to this area and that area, and maybe do a million different things. But right now, what I'm focused on is just competing with myself, doing more for the community as much as I humanly can. Right, giving back and fundraisers and philanthropy, helping the YPN get to a level that I know that it can get to, and taking what they all have done, presidents, past presidents, all of the entire everyone, and now helping with that and bringing it to maybe the next level. We're taking their amazing ideas and taking it beyond that as well, growing it even more.
Right.
Growing my team, having them all succeed. Like, nothing makes me happier now. Like that.
Bringing team members. When people come to you and say, I want to be part of your team, like, that's one of the best, you know, best things you could ask for.
No.
Compliment.
Yes, but the best thing is when that happens, and then they do amazing, and they make a lot of money, and they help a ton of people and families. That's
the thing for me. Like, it's not like people say, "Oh, I do it for the money." If you do it for the money, you're never really going to get to that next level.
Yeah.
You know, you really do it for all the, like, I would say 90% of the people I've probably dealt with, we talk. If it's every couple months, they'll reach out. Oh, how you doing? Or I'll reach out. How's everything going? They send me pictures of updating things I did into the house. Like, you develop like a relationship with these people.
We treat like family.
They become family. It's like one big family. And you know, down the line when they're ready to sell, they don't think of anybody else. They think of you because you become family for the last 10 years. And they had their daughter for the first, 1-year-old and brought them all the way up to their 10, and now they're ready to move. So it's like.
What do you think they're gonna call? They're gonna call you.
They're gonna call you.
So my biggest thing is like I'm competing, against myself, and I more so than anything want to see my team succeed, and I want to see them take all of their business to the next level. I want to see them have financial freedom, time. I guess my brain is starting to slow down.
But it's true though. You don't see a lot of agents, team leaders, I would say, because you're a team leader. And I really just got into being the team leader that I really want to push myself to be, where it's spending money for your team to grow and grow successful, and not bring people onto your team and let them fend for themselves and be like, go out there and get it. Like, if you're succeeding, I'm going to succeed, and we're all going to succeed together. Yeah. So it really just opens your eyes to really.
It's like the Islanders. Like, you were busting my chops earlier about them. Like, the Islanders were not if you're a hockey fan, like the Islanders weren't the best team. They weren't even close. They're probably the worst team in the playoffs, to be honest with you. But they were very bought into their manager, Barry Trotz. Oh, I'm sorry, their coach, manager. Their coach, Barry Trotz, like, had them all bought in. They were all playing for each other. They were all very bought in. They all respected each other, and they all they lifted each other up. Right. So if you have, it all starts at the top. It started with Barry Trotz. My team and me, we do not have the most experience. We don't have the most sales. We don't have 30 years, we don't have that. But we're all bought in. We all love what we're doing. We all have the same goal, right? Similar goal, and we're all there for each other, which is very, very rare, unfortunately, in this business. Yeah, you don't see a lot of people really group together and team up together, and more of it's cutthroat and I'm out for myself and go fend for yourself. Not much, group together, team together, and like, let's get this deal done together and share the the whole thing. It's more cut and dry. I'm out on my own. Absolutely. But I mean, do you feel do you want to open up a brokerage down the line? Do you see yourself wanting to do something like that, or do you have a associate broker license yet? So not yet. Okay. So my 2 years was in February, and then that was kind of right when. Gotcha. Like, so I just passed 2 months ago.
just to have it. You never know what the future holds. I was like, let's just get it.
Yeah. I mean, that's next up on for me is taking that and doing getting my, I guess, associate brokers. Yeah. But I don't know. Listen, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
But I just know how difficult it is, and I know how pressed right now I am with time, and it's a lot of responsibility, and it's a lot of.
Would you ever want to take yourself away from selling to be a non-competing broker that is, really delegating? You're running a ship per se, rather than being a soldier.
I don't think that. Yeah. I don't know because
it's two totally different people.
Absolutely.
It's two. That's
100%.
I don't know if I would ever want to do it.
Say it again. 100%. And I'm gonna say
I like being in the field. I like being with people. I like doing that. Like I don't want to be behind the desk, taking everyone's deals and pushing them out there. Like I like being involved with everybody.
Yeah, me too. Like this is kind of my oxygen, meeting new people and doing all these different things. So I don't know if I would ever be a good position for that, but it's definitely something that I think about down the line. Like I don't know. It's I'm trying just to kind of take it as everything, and just go with the flow. And you never know what's gonna happen. Literally
no. What is your outrageous goal for next year? So obviously, what are you going to do this year? 150, 175 houses or something something around there? Or?
My outrageous goal for next year is to buy my mom a house.
Buy your mom a house. Mm-hmm. Nice goal.
It's not even necessarily a transaction, no.
Just want to buy your mom a house.
If we're talking numbers, I want to outdo myself, and I want my team to outdo themselves.
Right.
So if 150 is going to be the number for this year, okay, maybe we'll do 200. And then eventually, I would like to, if possible, be the #1 team on the island and in New York, and whatever else is going to come from it. But my immediate goal, I'd like to buy my house, and I would like for everyone on my team to be in a similar situation, to have financial freedom and to be able to do whatever they want.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, financial freedom. Speaking of financial freedom, I mean, we'll segue into it just for a couple minutes before we tune off. Do you want to get into rentals? Do you ever think about doing investment stuff? Obviously, we both speak to Charles. Obviously, we all know his main thing is I flip houses to buy rentals.
Right.
So I'm always looking for to get my feet wet in that aspect. I flipped 1 or 2 houses here and there, just on deals that I came across, and I said, all right, we'll do it. Luckily, came out on top on those. You never know what happens these days, especially when you're new. You kind of sometimes step in shit, sometimes you don't. But do you ever look into getting into that? Have you gotten into that before? Obviously.
When is this gonna air?
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
2
Usually
weeks.
like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, all right. So I mean, I'm buying my first house, right?
Right.
So for me, that is the first investment. That's the first one that I'm making. I don't think that I want to get into flipping. I don't think I want to get into that.
That's gonna be your personal house, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to get into flipping. I don't think. I don't want to really compete with a lot of Jeremiah and Charles.
Right, the guys
for me, it would be stupid for me to do that.
Right.
And it's really just not something that I'm necessarily into. But the rental side of things, for me, I don't really know the stock market. I don't really know those types of things.
I'm terrible with that stuff. So like the rental stuff is like if you can make $500,000 a month, and have 5, 10 of those, for retirement for your kids or
absolutely. It's and the end game is who has the man with the most assets in my opinion. So for me, the rentals. That's what I'm gonna focus and be my retirement because again I don't know what I'm doing with the other stuff.
Right.
But flipping
doesn't fit it for you.
Not really. I love the design. I love the idea of it. It's obviously an amazing way to make a change your life.
Of course.
And you see that very often. But just for me, I respect Jeremiah.
That hustle for them.
And listen, I would never want to impede on that. It's like Jeremiah got his real estate. I think he actually does have his real estate license.
But they know.
I saw Jeremiah build this house. I'm gonna call him right away. You know what I mean? Right. Same thing with Charles. I'm pretty sure has his broker's license too, but he's not.
Right, he's not selling. They kind of stay in their lane. They know what they're good at. They focus on that.
Me too.
And stay there.
Yeah.
So, but you do want to get into at least the rental aspect.
Yeah, down the line. It just for me, it's the most sensible way for me to invest my money.
Right. We're huge in Suffolk County. Most of my stuff is really Nassau County. So people that don't know you are definitely going to know you now.
Vice versa.
Hopefully vice versa. For people that are really looking Suffolk County.
So that's why. No,
if people are really looking Suffolk County, obviously that's your bread and butter. Nobody really knows it better probably than yourself and your team.
I appreciate it.
How do they get in contact with you? Where do they find you? Where can they look at your ridiculous videos?
Yeah, social media is probably the easiest. Instagram is DANONEIL_.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Should we double check it?
I guess I'm gonna go eat breakfast after this, so my brain's I'm slowing down a little bit, but yeah, that's my Instagram. Cell phone 631-384-8611. And if anyone calls me from the show, I'll make sure to let you know too, and we'll work something out. Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I appreciate you having me on here, and a big fan of the stuff that you're doing. Congrats on the top 20 under 40. Get involved in the YPN. Now I'm gonna bust your chops.
Yeah. You know, we'll exchange numbers since now we.
Now
we made it past the Instagram. You know, I slid in your DM. You know, and now we can pass the baton.
Absolutely, and I mean, I'm gonna hound you for that for the YPN stuff too. So
sounds good. So. You know, if you're looking to sell your house in Nassau County, that's my territory. So if you're looking to sell your house, give me a call, 516-732-6398. Once again, Josh Allen with Team Handler over at Exit Realty Premier in Massapequa. Give us a call.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.